Hi Yogi, welcome to Yoga with Alina, and today we have a tutorial where we're going to cover 3 most common poses in yoga. Those are going to be Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3. Whenever we think about yoga, probably warrior poses are one of the first ones that come to mind. And today we'll talk about their differences, their similarities, and how they tie in together as well. That's going to be an interesting element of this tutorial, so stay tuned for that one. Let's head over to the mat and take a look. For this tutorial, I not only have one helper, Tab, my amazing friend, amazing yogi, but I have another helper, one of my favorite yoga books, which is Myths of Asana. And you'll understand why in just a little bit. First, let's take a look at the physical aspect of Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3. What are those poses? Those are definitely strengthening poses, right? So those poses that we use in the yoga sequences to work on the strength. Usually legs, right? Because those are all standing poses. That's another thing to remember about them. But also when we're working on the postures, there are lots of components to it, right? Not just the strength, a lot of mind-body awareness, a lot of closed open hip awareness, a lot of balancing as well. Even when both feet are on the ground, doesn't really matter. So all these things apply to all 3 warriors, not just one, but all 3 of them. Let's start looking at them right away, because I can talk all day, but it's not going to make sense unless you actually see it. Let's get into Warrior 1 and just get into it however you want to get into it. Doesn't really matter. I like how you're always like sequencing it. Good. All right, so this is a beautiful, beautiful Warrior 1 pose. And he's doing it in a very traditional way with the arms up, the palms together, looking up to the ceiling. And actually, personally, not my favorite way because it hurts my neck when I look up. And it's pretty hard on the shoulders as well. So if you're not a fan of this particular variation, well, you're not the only one. But this is how it should look like ideally. All right, let's look at the whole thing. This is strengthening pose. This is your lunge pose. But with a little trick, we have that back heel down on the floor. One thing, it gives us a bit more stability, it really does. But another thing, it actually makes it a little bit more difficult to close down the hips. And for this warrior, for Warrior 1, we really want the hips to be as closed as possible. If you watch my tutorial on open and closed hips, you know the deal here. When the toes are facing different directions, we can never have hips closed 100%. So that means that yes, we're trying, but it's never going to happen for us. So if by any chance this pose starts hurting your knee, which it can because we're literally twisting everything, we're twisting the leg in 2 different directions. If it starts hurting your knee at any point of your practice, you're going to have to lift the back heel up and turn it into a lunge. No longer warrior, a lunge, still okay, has a lot of benefits as well, but also no damage to the knee. Good, let it go, just relax for a second. I know it's not easy. Good. Take a few moments. And you guys have looked at the pose enough to remember it right now. Another thing that I really want to mention, and Ted was doing an incredible job on that, we're trying to bend the front leg at about 90-degree angle. And it's not just Warrior 1, it's Warrior 2 that we're going to get into in just a couple of moments. Both of those poses, ideally, we want to have that knee bend quite a lot. And this is a very strong element of this pose. In my opinion, this is the beauty of the practice, all these lines and angles and shapes. So if you're not at the point of the practice where the knee is getting to that 90-degree angle, that is okay as well. You're still going to get a lot of benefits from those poses. You're just going to get a lot out of this pose. Let's leave it at that. But you know that eventually you want to build your practice up to get to that 90-degree angle. All right, let's look at Warrior II. And we're going to see the similarities, the differences, all that good stuff. Whichever way you want, just get into it. Yay, that's beautiful. That was a beautiful setup. Good, same thing. We have that beautiful, I'm going to start from this side now. We have our somewhat of a 90-degree angle right here. Actually, it is 90-degree angle. That is amazing. And then now we have no doubt that the hips are definitely open. And for this one, this is the main difference between Warrior I and Warrior III. Your hips are going to be open here. Now, some of the very common things that happen that I see in people is that they start leaning. I'm actually going to show it from the other side. They start leaning forward, right? And the shoulders are no longer stacked over the hips. Well, that's not good. So we really want the shoulders to be stacked over the hips and the hips leveled, right? It's not about how close to the ground you get. It's not about how far forward you go. You still need to be centered. He's doing an incredible job on that. So work on those hips being parallel, right? Work on that knee to be at the 90-degree angle. And then the back leg, there's lots of strength in the back leg as well. You're pushing through the outer blade of the foot and you're keeping this leg as strong as possible. Let it go, relax. I know. Yes, those are not easy, especially the thing is when you do them in a yoga class, they might even be a little bit easier because no one is really looking and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm just going to do it. Especially that happens to me when I teach a class. But when you're doing this for the camera, when you're actually posing, when you're doing this for a photo shoot, oh my God, this is where you get the burn. This is where you actually know the pose and you feel every single muscle that is supposed to be engaged in this. So whenever the camera is there, that's when you actually feel it. All right, let's do Warrior III. Last Warrior. And we're going to see again some similarities, some differences, all that good stuff. Nope, that's Warrior II. Let's go to Warrior III. Yep. There we go. Good. All right, I'm going to torture and ask to reach the arms forward. That's the full Warrior III, and this is so damn hard, I know. Just a couple of pointers. Look at his hips. The hips are closed here. Obviously, it's a balancing pose. The hips are closed. The shoulders are parallel to the floor. The biceps is by the ears. All the good stuff, let it go. I'm not going to let you hold it much longer than this. Good. But the main similarity between Warrior I and Warrior III is the hips, because we're trying to close the hips here as well. Now in this warrior, we can actually close them, as opposed to the Warrior I where we cannot really close it. One thing that stands out, this is a balancing posture. So this is where you get to work on the balance a little bit more. And the more you extend the arms, the more you have to engage the core here. It's a little bit easier to have hands at the heart center in prayer, out in the airplane, which are I prefer those variations because I'm lazy. But the actual variation is with the arms all the way up, the biceps by the ears, reaching, and your body being at a capital letter T. So those are three warriors that we have in our yoga practice. And a lot of people, especially when they just start practicing, they ask me, how do you remember which one is the first, the second, the third? What's the deal with that? There is a beautiful, beautiful myth around those asanas. Actually, there are beautiful myths around most of the asanas. And if you have not read this book that I showed in the very beginning, definitely recommend it. But I'm going to read out a part of myth of Virabhadrasana, which is a warrior, Virabhadrasana I, II, and III. And I'm not reading the full story. The full story is obviously a love story. But it's a tragic love story. So eventually everyone dies and everyone gets killed. And this is how yoga myths usually are. They're pretty dark and twisted. So a part of this one with warriors, that's what I'm going to read out right now. And Te is going to show us how it looks so that hopefully you guys will be able to remember which one is which. All right, are you ready? Story time, guys. Okay, go into your downward facing dog and we're going to start performing from there. Think about starting to get into warrior. We're just setting up the stage for you guys. The dreadlock was transformed into Virabhadra, the great warrior who rose out of the ground. This is the warrior rising out of the ground, warrior one. He drew his sword. This is what he does, warrior two. And sliced off Daksha's head. Yeah, kind of. Good job. When it fell to the ground, Virabhadra bent to pick it up and reached forward to place it upon a stake. And this is your warrior three. Let it go. That is part of the myth of Virabhadra.
That was fun.
That was fun, right? I love it. Anyways, definitely read it. Read the whole thing. It's a cool love story. All of them are love stories. Again, most of them. And hopefully this will help you remember which one is which and the position and the fun of it. And the next time you practice it, you're in a yoga practice, you'll be able to put a little smile on your face, even if you're dying inside a little bit. At least that's my intention for this tutorial. Thank you so much, Yogi, for staying with us for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. And from us to you, namaste.